Valley father was killed in a road rage shooting, and his kids saw the whole thing from the backseat of the car. One of the boys happened to be recording a video on his phone when that shooting happened. That video, of course, now evidence in the murder investigation. 12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra is live for us in Tempe this afternoon after speaking with the victim's family. Gabby?
Well, Rachel, the mother of those boys, tells me she deleted that video from her son's phone after handing it over to detectives because she never wants her sons to have to see it again. But first, she tells me she watched it for herself. And just like in the court records, she says it shows everything from the shooting. The mother, who wishes to only go by her first name, Vanessa, tells me her son records everything all the time. The video in particular started about his shoes, but after their father, 29-year-old Stephen Bevan, got out of the car near Priest and Warner, her son turned around and filmed out the back window. Tempe police say Bevan became engaged in road rage with 46-year-old Dustin Jackson. They stopped in the middle of the road on Priest, and Bevan approached his car. That's when Jackson opened the door and allegedly shot Bevan in the chest. Vanessa said it was hard to watch the video, knowing it was filmed through her son's eyes.
Anger. I was angry because a lot of things could have been avoided. A lot of things could have been avoided. And I had to see for myself, how my son's father left. Especially in front of them. So it really hurt.
And according to court records, Jackson is claiming self-defense, saying he was in fear for his life and his 6-year-old daughter's life, who was also in his car. Police say no weapons were found on Bevan or in his car. And I'll be sharing more from my conversation with Vanessa coming up in an hour on 12 News at 5 o'clock. There was also a GoFundMe page created for Stephen, and those funeral expenses his family will have to be paying for. Anyone who wishes to donate can find a link to that fundraiser on 12news.com. Live in Tempe, Gabriella Becerra, 12 News.
Gabriella, thank you. Time now for a legal deep dive on this case. Attorney Logan Elia from Rose Law Group joins us now. I want to start with that road rage case that we just heard from Gabriella. Does that claim of self-defense hold up in this situation? Because as we know and as we've seen before, self-defense is not a one-size-fits-all.
No, self-defense is only appropriate when you are in legitimate, reasonable fear of your life or the lives of others. So what this could be, and self-defense is very factually dependent,
right?
But based on what we've heard, to me this sounds like what's called imperfect self-defense. That is when you are in fear of your life or the lives of others, but your fear is not objectively speaking reasonable. It's simply legitimate. You feel it, but a reasonable person would not. You're scared. I would say in a road rage incident, generally speaking, if you stop your car and get out of the car and start approaching somebody else's car, you're going to be the person who's in the wrong. But just because somebody stops their car and walks towards yours doesn't mean that you get to open your car door and shoot them as they approach.
So what would be an example of a legitimate claim?
Someone stops their car, runs up towards your car, and has a bat and breaks out your window, or has a gun and points it at you. I would say if you're ever in an incident like this, roll up your windows, keep your doors shut, try to drive away if you can. If you can't, if someone breaks your window or points a gun at you, then you're in reasonable fear of your life. But if somebody's just standing outside your car yelling at you, it's not obvious to me that that fear is reasonable.
Okay, let's get to our second case now in the news. A tragedy at a pool party hosted by First Baptist Church of Chandler. A 4-year-old boy drowned at a Chandler public pool during an annual church pool party by the First Baptist Church of Chandler. 18 lifeguards were on duty. The church had signed a standard waiver in January, releasing the city from liability for any injury or death during rented events. Pastor Paul Smith says that the church has never had issues with staff in the past and is leaving the investigation to police. So, Logan, when you sign your typical standard waiver, does that immediately absolve any liability?
No, a waiver doesn't eliminate all liability, but it does eliminate reasonable and foreseeable risks that you're aware of and you're going to accept. So, for instance, the obligation is that you exercise ordinary care in your endeavors. And so if you're operating a pool, you should have an appropriate number of lifeguards on staff. And that number may be set by a city ordinance or a state law or a lifeguard professional organization or the Red Cross. If you have that appropriate number of lifeguards, then you are probably exercising reasonable care. On the other hand, if you just said, I'm not going to have any lifeguards, or I'm supposed to have 18, but one seems good, that's what's called gross negligence or recklessness. And you cannot waive liability for gross negligence or recklessness.
All right. Let's get to our last case here, a jailhouse confession from a man accused of murdering a pastor in New River. Adam Schief openly admitted to killing Pastor Bill Shoneman and even laid out his plan to target dozens more religious leaders across the country. Here's part of that interview.
Ever considered that you're just mentally unwell?
No, I mean, maybe I'm the one that sees the truth. And maybe it's everybody else that is deceived by Satan. So if that makes me mentally ill for following what God says, then so be it. Put me on death row, set the execution date for right now. The victims want it, the victims' families want it, I want it, and the taxpayers want it.
So in light of that confession on camera and saying that he wants to be executed, Logan, what kind of legal impact, if any, could this interview have on his case?
Well, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's pretty much, he admitted it. He wants it, right? Is that a slam dunk for prosecutors?
If prosecutors have any evidence that he actually committed the crime, in addition to his confession, then yeah, it's a slam dunk.
So in a situation like this, I mean, why even go to trial?
Well, he may not,
Yeah.
based on what he's saying. He may just enter a guilty plea. Remember, trials are to determine the guilt of somebody when they contest the charges. But if you plead guilty, then there's really no need for a trial. There will still be a sentencing hearing, and there are special procedures in place in a capital case in Arizona because we don't want to be executing crazy people making false confessions.
Right. And I was just going to say, let's just say it does go to trial, right? And what would his defense attorney claim? What would they argue?
So this is a situation where a defense attorney may be appointed against this man's will. It sure sounds like he doesn't want one.
Right.
And that will be an awkward position for that lawyer. But if I were that lawyer, I would be looking to get a mental competency exam and make the argument that this person is insane and unfit to stand trial and doesn't appreciate the wrongness of their actions and is therefore not legally culpable in the same way that a sane person is.
Right. All right. Well, we will wait and see. Logan, thank you so much for all your insight on those three cases. We appreciate it.